All right, so this is a great one I picked up. Foolishly already threw the box away, but I do have the gist of it. So this one was interesting. It's called pre-war Pilz. So pre-war was the other nickname for the prohibition. So before prohibition, there was a distinct mixture of the barley, rice, and like I think oats or something like that. And so those constant recipes were common, and prohibition hit, and then it just changed everything. And on the comeback, a lot of them brought back the recipes, and so they started nicknaming them pre-war recipes or pre-prohibition, and that's just something that stuck for a while. So that's something that's just kind of gotten forgotten. Like Budweiser, when they really came back, they really started with their amber. There were several beers they brought back, and so when that whole hype came out, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, I got this amber ale or whatever," and it's like, no, that was already their flagship beer. So somebody was an old school guy. He goes, "I have one of the original bottles hanging in my garage," you know, but it was his favorite. So he was excited because it came back. It went away. So that's since there's a lot of things that they lose their trend, even though they're still good, just because the way things are changing. And it's usually the one that someone might like the most, love the most, crave the most, and that's the one they take away. So it usually doesn't have a big follow. So there was one, the lager from Karbach. I think they still have it in the tap room, but it's not something that they distribute as much because it lost popularity. So they switched it for, there was another one, it was a Kolsch or something like that. They just swapped it out. I knew when I was working there, I was working at Total Wine, this guy, every day he was looking for that specific beer. That's the one he wanted. He wanted their lager. He had all the choices in the world, and that's the one he wanted, but that's when they took away. So this one's here. It's a recipe based on old recipes. They put it as a Pilz. It can still be a lager because they're all in the same family. They just branch off differently. So I'm really excited to try this one out, see what I think about it. And it's just a personal opinion, but the story is awesome. It is a little bit of history that you can still look up and see. So this is actually very light. Got a lot of head going on right there, a lot of foam, which is a good thing. It's not always a bad thing. A lot of college people are like, no foam, no head. But this is sharper. Yeah, but this is really how you gotta serve it up. Hand it to a person. You're not supposed to be just pounding it right away. You don't have to be going like this. It's almost crispy, almost like lemon citrus. And then the bubbles pop, the effervescence start opening up. So this is probably an average lager you would have gotten. Just starting off, some came darker, you know. It was just the time, it was the era. It's what they brought to us. And so since then it's changed. A lot of people go for great dark beers. So if you're looking for something a little different, a little light and refreshing, let's see if this got it. I love it. Ooh. Has a nice balance of the malt. You get a little of the rice feel. So when you get like the Japanese ones, everyone, there's that little, I swear, like, so when I drink horchata, even though there's like a little bit of milk in it, the rice grains like leave a coating on the roof of my mouth, and I get just the right amount of that, and it's awesome. It's for me, it's memories. It's just, so I've had plenty of beers that had that. I'm like, oh, you know, and it might not taste great to someone else. I like it, but then I have that extra factor that really helps me enjoy it. So it's very light and not what I would expect from a Pilz. It's intense, but I do like it. It does remind me more of like the Kirin and Ichiban, but not as funky fragrant. They have a little slightly different because their focus is the rice. This has some rice, so that's the difference. This is a recipe of different grains, and just one of them has to be included. So I like it. Has a nice little bitterness that you would get more from a Pilz, but it's very pleasant and it doesn't linger. It's already going away right now, but as it's going away, the other grains come in and they keep going back and forth like playing tag. So this is very awesome. Live Oak always makes great beers. Definitely see them soon. I'm trying to. This is a pre-war Pilz. If you had, and I've had a couple on their other on here on the videos. They're just great solid beers. This one's 5%, and it's a Pilsner, American Pilsner. So definitely light, refreshing. It's not so much crisp, but it definitely has a malty glaze, like going over a slight bitter. It smells phenomenal. I left it a little warm because I'm really trying to get as much as I can. Obviously, if you get this cold, this would be a very crushable beer, so be careful. It's not heavy, but nice and chilled. It'd go down the hatch. So just be careful. Hopefully, this is something you're looking for. This is another tribute to Pilz. Honestly, Pilz and lagers, they're type of canvas. It's very sensitive. So at any point, When they're lighter on these flavors, you think, oh, that's nothing. But if you get one thing wrong, the whole batch will absorb that flavor. So this is a lot more skill set, and I really enjoy that now that I know that more. And I'm really thankful for anyone who takes the time and patience to go through this, because you don't know, they could have thrown a couple away. They could have a couple sitting there trying to figure out what to do with them, and only a small amount are getting to you, or they're nailing it, which is great, which is just keep it going. It's just more sensitive than you realize. There's more attentiveness that's needed. It's just really appreciated. So I definitely don't crap on any beers. This one's good. This one got my attention. Great story behind it, and it's good, something to talk about. Anyone that's not big into beers, this is a good starter one. This puts you in that lager Pilz area. You get a little more of that Pilz flavor with the typical lager body, but it's all in the same family. So something to learn, something to try, and something to drink. So drink to that and be safe.